All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next edition of the Pod Racing Tournament 2025 edition. We got Belle versus HOMURA. This is round three of Swiss. I am Domare, joined today by first time commentator Cook Nathan. It's
Good
great to have
evening,
you here.
people. I hope it's going to be a good race.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very much looking forward to how this goes. Um, it's definitely one of those races where things are unfortunately a little one-sided in terms of what expectations are. Uh, Homura
HOMURA is
is
a
the
very good,
second. Yeah, Homura is
very
the
good
second
competitor.
best full track player in the game, so it's quite an uphill battle for Bell.
Not
We
Belle's
are going to be.
first time, but Belle is definitely less experienced. But we could get an upset here. It could be exciting.
Yeah, Bell definitely is more of a playing during tournament season type of player, whereas Homura just plays for the sake of playing. Let's see, let's do
There's no doubt
single
that
banner
HOMURA's times are
suspension.
very impressive.
Yes, and we're actually starting today on Executioner, and the thing about Executioner is that a lot of people have issues with it, but the instant that you get to like a certain skill level on the track, it becomes one of the most consistent tracks in the game. So, oh, and
Yeah,
Bell
I'm
takes a
certainly not
death
doing
in the
myself.
two, and so does Homura. Wow, that's an interesting development.
Wow, indeed.
Looks like it's off by a second. Okay, don't know how
Is
that
this
would be
showing
beneficial.
Belle ahead? This is going to be exciting.
Oh, goodness gracious! I can't look at it being wrong. It must be correct. Okay, there. Yeah, Bell is
Nevertheless,
actually going to
Belle
finish
coming out
the first
first.
lap. Wow, by a
That big wow.
sizable amount too. That's
Very
very
sizable.
interesting. Hmm.
Boosting all the way through the I don't know what you would call it, the column.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure there's a good term for it. I just kind of call it like a gate whenever I talk about it.
I don't know,
I,
chat. I think this might be a really good match. If this is the way it continues.
at the very least, if
Oh, Belle,
if
Belle.
Homura, yeah, if Homura makes enough mistakes, Bell seems to at least be able to pull out some
And HOMURA
speed and
takes the
keep
lead
ahead.
out of the
But
second
yeah,
tunnel.
Bell making another mistake there themselves, and Homura's definitely going to capitalize. F indeed, Ram. F indeed.
It was still very entertaining to watch.
Most certainly. Now, one thing that I definitely need Bell to work on in the future is the usage of the fast terrain opportunities within Executioner. Now, Homer has done a much better job about using the fast terrain, which is mainly in the anti-gravity moves. So you can see, like, coming out of that last anti-gravity tube, Homer was on much lower heat than Bell was. Bell actually waited a good while to start boosting towards the final finish line. And what that means for people who aren't aware of how fast terrain really works in this game is so long as you avoid your heat going to zero, you want to use as much of the fast terrain without boosting as possible because it gives you free speed, and speed is hard to come by.
And Dom, am I correct in saying as well you get a slight advantage not bursting downhill and a slight advantage bursting uphill as well, which I'm also noticing the difference between Bell and HOMURA. HOMURA,
It's kind of odd because the boosting on slopes does a couple different things. Like If you boost downhill, it gives you a disproportionately higher amount of speed compared to boosting like on flat ground or not boosting going
Oh,
downhill. That is going to be a victory for
victory to
Homura.
HOMURA.
But boosting uphill means you spend less time losing speed to uphill. So the way I see it is that
Mm,
flat ground is the worst place to boost in terms of like slopes if you have the choice.
that doesn't make
All
any
right.
sense to me. Let's see what's going on.
All right. So that's a 358 with one death for Homer and a 403 with two deaths for Belle. So the next track that we're going to be going to, which is the first of Belle's picks, is Mongaza Speedway, where Ben Quadinaros, the primary pick in this game, is banned. Now, this has
A
been a
short and
very
sweet one.
common pick historically. And what has usually happened is that one person who picks this is expecting the more experienced player to choose bulls and make a mistake. And usually, when that happens, the less experienced player chooses Mars in the hope that that mistake with bulls ends up costing more than the speed loss that Mars has comparatively.
Let's see how your prediction goes, Dom.
I hope to see a bulls mirror. That'd be a lot more exciting, but just historically, that's what's been done.
Okay, Bell changing some traction
Belle is
there.
choosing bulls. Okay, good. Very good.
Oh,
I like to see it.
I
Now,
mean, Bell has some
since
very interesting picks here, so I'm not discounting Bell. I think Bell's put some work in here.
I hope so, bulls is not particularly easy to use on Mongasa Speedway, and Homura has certainly played the track enough with Ben to have a good understanding of the track compared to most people. Uh, oh, that's where Homura's other time went. Their game froze on Executioner, and I think it was at the same time that we synced it because that's why it was like off on the timer compared to what I synced it with. I kept wondering why the sync was wrong. It's because their game froze.
Oh, we are seeing a reverse prediction, Dom. Homura seemingly going with Mars.
This is this is actually some interesting in the brain of the racers pick right here. Because this means that Homura has decided, you know what? I'm faster than you. I don't think you can use bulls adequately, so I'm gonna take the safer pod. I'm
Very,
guessing that
very
Homura is
interesting.
doing
Big brain move.
this. Yeah, I'm guessing Homura is doing this because he probably hasn't played bulls on MGS very much, and would just rather assume that Bell's gonna make too many mistakes, knowing the difference in overall player skill level here.
And I mean,
Which
just based
definitely
on the
does not
practice here,
play into Bell's favor.
yeah, just based on the practice, Homura very tight, very clean. Bell, hopefully Bell getting all of their crashes out in the practice round, so they'll have no more crashes in the real when the timer starts. So should keep an eye on that.
Yeah, we definitely. That's a 41 with Mars for Homer in practice. That was better than the best time Bell had with Ben on this profile at the
Cool.
very least. So we'll see what happens.
Good
All
so
right.
far.
2.5 seconds sync for Homer here in a second. Looks like a good
Bell good
corner.
so far.
And that is quite the lead to take already. Almost 2 seconds. Homer is ahead, mostly on merit. And that's because Bell is not using that boost of bulls effectively enough. Now, Homer is going to have to not boost as much this lap, but if Bell can't hold it around the corners, it's not going to matter too much.
Homura just keeps pulling ahead, and here it comes.
Yep, last corner. And that's almost a 42 flat. And that's
Big credit
in the
to Bell
second
for
race.
big credit to Bell for keeping it clean through there. Not a single crash. That was really good.
Yeah, and we always like to see those crashless races, but unfortunately, Belle did need something to happen to Homura there, just with the difference in pace from
The strategy
kind of
did not work
from the
out.
whole thing. Yeah, and for the second race, we're gonna have a similar idea, which is Sebulba's Legacy with no Ben again. So this is the second of Belle's picks, given that Homura has won both the first two races. And this is a very interesting pick. It always is. And the reason for that is that it's pretty ambiguous who you should actually be. And the correct answer from like a speed perspective is still Bulls, but Bulls is very difficult to use on Sebulba's Legacy effectively. There's
It's
also a
a
difference in routes for full track, which I'm not sure you're aware of,
oh
but you
yes,
can
the
either,
down
yeah,
route versus the up route. Yes,
yes, if you stay on the
very
up route,
controversial skip.
if you stay on the up route, you do lose some time compared to just driving forward and going on the bottom route. Now, if you fall off and go on the bottom route after trying to be on the top route, obviously that's slower, but just cutting straight to the tunnel is actually faster. And speaking of controversial skips versus no skips, Sebulba's Legacy has a skip that has been in and out of the legality of full
I would say
track
it
over
depends
the
who you
history.
ask if it's a skip, Dom.
It still does, but I mean, like, even from like this speedrun.com moderator team, it has over the years gone in and out of being considered a skip itself. So even even in the eyes of moderators, it's still kind of the definitive gray area of the game.
And I have to
Okay,
say,
so
in
we
practice, Homura bottom route very clean, very impressive.
mhm. He's definitely very used to that. And
Oh, and that's
Homura
crash.
falls for the classic issue. If you don't get enough airtime there and you land too early, you will die because of the slope change. This game detects, quote unquote, detects deaths by a thing called DSD, which is just how much speed you lose in a frame. It's called death speed drop.
I
So
always
if you
assumed there was a
lose,
polygon there, but okay.
yeah, so if you lose a certain amount of speed within a frame, I don't remember the number off the top of my head, and your overall speed is over 325, then you will die. Like, it doesn't matter what the cause of the speed loss is, you will die. So if you go from a very slope, like a very steep slope to a less steep slope, because you are going faster on a steeper slope than you would the less steep slope, and if you lose that much speed from changing to that lesser slope, you die.
Okay,
So
this
you
could
have to
be
avoid those by, in this case, being in the air long enough to just go over it. So you can
should
avoid
be
that death
starting up
entirely
here
by
now.
pressing those keys. Oh, that's the opposite direction. Sorry. Thank you.
I also want your opinion, Dom. I noticed that there's a bit of a different players choosing different viewers. Some of them are a bit more close, and some of them are a bit more far away. Is
Mhm.
there is that just a personal preference, or what's your thoughts on that?
So the two primary cameras that people use are the two that we're actually seeing now, which is like the quote unquote close cam and the far cam.
Mm.
Uh,
And a lot of
Now
difference in
Homura,
Mars Glow, especially.
yeah, I have always been far cam for certain pods and close cam for the majority of other pods. Now, I do believe that it is
Oh, big
easier
crash for Bell.
to see the lines that you want to take on a close cam just because you can kind of have a better reference for how close you are to the wall. But technically speaking, there is no difference between the two other than like visibility.
Mm,
So
mm.
if you want to have a certain visibility or you value seeing more of the track versus more of the distance to the wall, you can choose whatever you prefer. But I do believe that for most people, it's easier for them to get used to the idea of being close to the wall and seeing how far away they are to judge
Uh,
how good their line is on close cam. But again, it is kind of dependent on the situation too. I switched to far cam even with Ben dependent on certain sections of some tracks just to kind of get a different visual reference.
That makes sense. Oh, another crash for
Uh,
Belle.
Bell just having a very, very hard time of it with this one,
And it's
and
interesting to
Homura.
note, Homura taking the top route in the actual game, where he was taking the bottom route in the practice. So
Yeah, that top route, at least on lap 3, I should say, um, can be a lot easier to use the boost on, and therefore is often, especially in a tournament setting, worth just taking the top route on at least lap 3. All right.
I think now we have a very interesting next one. I think it is Inferno Skips. This will be a lot of fun.
Uh, it sure will. Although it should be noted that Bell is currently talking about Inferno Skip's wand was a bluff. So I'm a little concerned.
That's fun.
This might not end well.
And no
Oh
Mars either, so we'll
goodness.
see what happens here.
They come here, they look around, they no buy. Why nobody buy?
Yeah, not having Mars on Inferno Skips makes it a lot harder.
Is it one Sadage? One Sadage. There we go, with Homura.
Yeah, Juan Sandage,
Sadage.
Juan Sandage, however you pronounce it. I don't know.
Also a very
Thank you.
good choice.
Yeah, so the thing about why it's easier with Mars is that he is a
Homura is
very
so
fat pod.
so good.
He has the highest what's called an ISEC radius, which you can just think of as like the radius of collision for the pod. And because of that, he has a very easy time staying on that like ceiling, like on the upper part of the ceiling. And so you can kind of very easily control how long you stay up there. And he also has an easier time climbing this first wall for whatever reason. Like at lap 1 when you turn to the right and then jump over. It's a very easy time climbing that. For some reason Juan struggles with that. Not sure why. Uh,
And
but
yet,
yeah.
Homura in practice just amazingly sharp and really good. I don't know if the bluff is going to work out for Bell here. It's
Yeah, Homura does not exactly look very uncomfortable.
what do you call it? The ceiling riding the ceiling there. Homura is just
Oh,
oh,
that's not good. Kind of a
no, that is
lucky
not.
respawn. If you fall into that lava without touching the road, you actually don't get that lap to be able to count. So that was a
And am I
very
wrong?
that was only practice, but that is a very
Oh,
lucky
Bella.
death to respawn back on your lane.
I think Bell is also on Xbox. Am I incorrect there?
I don't believe Bell is on anything but PC. In fact, I think both of
Oh, I
these
could be wrong.
players are keyboard players, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, my mistake. My mistake.
Which I'm always amazed that people can do what they do on keyboard in this
Yeah.
game.
Nevertheless, Homura very sharp. Very sharp.
Yeah, and Bell having issues with this first wall, which is not surprising, is a lot harder with Juan.
Yes, I have issues as well. I will admit it.
Oh my goodness.
Homura
Well, this could
extremely sharp.
potentially be the match here, and Homura looks a lot sharper, like you've been saying as a descriptor, than Bell does here, which is not a good sign for what was Bell's last pick.
Let's see what happens. Oh, the big crash by Bell. That could be it.
Not sure whether or not
And Homura
any
gets a
of the
crash as well.
yeah, I'm not sure where we're where we're at in terms of determining when the race is actually starting. They've both
Homura
just kind of
does
been
not.
going in and out of
Whoa,
doing
what's
it,
going on?
so I can't tell. Like I'm assuming we haven't gotten a restart that actually counted for the race yet, but I don't know.
I'm not sure here. I think we're both taking a bit of liberty with the restarts here. What's going on?
There's been quite a lot of them. I'm
I
going
think
to
Homura might
assume.
be getting tilted here, getting a lot of crashes.
I feel like this is the real one, but I don't want to resync it because I don't know that it is.
I trust your judgment.
Homura finishes the first lap, and Belle is driving around the long way, which, if this is the real race, is definitely not what you want to see. Homura successfully makes it to lap 3, which is also not what you want to see. And before anything even happens, Homura has finished with a 30.453, and Belle has not finished the first lap yet.
Lap. Oh. The
Ah,
block gets
man.
called, and Homura takes it.
Yep, and it looks like Belle is in fact DNFing for this last race. Which means that our match winner is Homura with a final race score of 4-0. See if we can get him in
Congratulations.
here for interviews. Hello, Belle. Welcome.
Well, you know what? I think the thing I have to say is I'm glad that's over. I mean,
Well, you know,
this is like a 4-0 was the result I was expecting before Wednesday, and so I'm not that disappointed. But also, god damn!
you know,
It was not completely
I gotta
one-sided.
say,
Had a few.
I have to question why you would have a bluff pick.
Well, you see, the answer to that is that I wasn't getting the skip with Mars, and so it's like I was trying with it. I stayed up till like 2 a.m. last night trying to get that skip working, and I could not get it consistent. So I said, "Fuck it, we're sorry, pardon my French. We're just gonna bluff and hope." Because at this point,
did not
the
work
regular
out.
skip
Sorry
isn't
to
working
hear that.
either.
And welcome, Homura. GG's on the victory today.
Congratulations.
Hello.
GG's. Hello.
So on
Hello.
Executioner, Homura, did you have the thing where your game freezes and then the timer has kept on? Is that what happened to you?
Yeah, that happened. Just
Ah,
very,
man.
just very, very unlucky.
It is. That's super
Yeah.
uncommon. I've had that happen to me one time in tournament, and it was in 2021 against Banana Boat Kid on Spice Mine Run, and he actually agreed to redo it because, like, I paused. It happened at the end of my lap 1. I paused and complained about it immediately. I was like, "Dude, I just lost like 5 seconds to nothing." Hello. But I ended up losing that race anyways because I died and he didn't die on the actual race, so that was funny. But yeah, to have that happen in tournament is just super unlucky. But luckily in this case for you, you ended up being able to pull out the win anyways. The 358 with 1 death. Where was that 1 death? Oh, it was in the tube. Yeah, that's right. It was in the tube, and it was right after your game froze.
Yeah, I that really just threw me off, and I wasn't able to dodge the rock.
Yeah, completely understand that.
Belle, go a little
So
bit
Belle,
more left. A little bit more left there.
Yep.
You got it. Lap 2. Oh,
I was
not
just
too bad.
wondering what some of your thoughts were like about how you came to your picks. You had Mongaza with no ban, and then SL with no ban. I understand that you were trying to get something else out of the last race. What was that? It was an Abyss pick.
Yeah, I had a bit skips prepped. I was getting semi-consistently around 32 seconds, maybe like 29, 32, somewhere there with Mars. And I said, well, I need to have something else for him to ban. What's painful? Inferno skips with 1. There we go. And then the Mad Lad said, actually, I'm going to do that instead.
Yes, Homura very clean on those Inferno skips. It was very impressive to watch.
Yeah, that was very. I never did one, so yeah, it was very tough to learn.
Fairly
yeah.
good.
Yeah, but you did
Loading
a
it live
really good
on
job of
stream.
picking it up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Not
mean
much.
Abyss, I think you use Mars,
Yep.
and I didn't want to do it, so yeah, because I don't like the skip too much.
Aw.
I can't exactly fault you for that. It's probably my least favorite thing to do in the game. Other than maybe some MFGs.
Yeah.
Waiting around a minute in a collision doing nothing is quite boring.
And now, Belle, just on the having a little bit of a muck around post match, really nailing the abyss skips. Is there any regret there not taking the abyss?
I mean, that wasn't my decision.
This was what Belle wanted, so at the end of the day, this is what HOMURA avoided.
Right. Fair enough.
But yeah, good stuff from both of you. It was a fun match to commentate on, and thank you for joining me today, Cook. It was good to have you on board. I'm sure
That was a lot
you'll
of
do
fun.
some more commentary in the future, and I look forward to either being a part of that or hearing it or whatever it might be.
Yeah, we'll see you in round 4. So do we know now
Guys,
who
have any
HOMURA?
other thoughts?
Do we know who HOMURA goes up against in round 4?
We do not have that yet, just because there's one more match to do, which is going to happen on, well, Wednesday, kind of. It depends on where you live. It's Wednesday at 11:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's going to be myself and Metallica.
Oh,
Did end up getting
Looking forward to
delayed
that
by
one.
a week due to some technical difficulties, but that will be the final match within the round 3 of Swiss, and we'll get all of the matches dependent on how that goes. I believe we had somebody take an effort at trying to guess what the matches would look like. Where would that be?
also looking
Time to
forward to
scroll.
seeing what the match committee comes up with for the first race of round 4. That's going to be a bit of fun. We've had
Yes, certainly.
what have we had? Executioner.
We round
Milestone
1.
100, and
Round 1 was Spice Mine Run. Round 2 was Milestone 100, and this most recent one was Executioner. I'm really hoping for a slightly more difficult track because, to be frank, the first 3 were not. I
Abyss,
want something
track for everyone.
inconsistent.
it's got to be fun for everyone,
But
Dom.
that's not hard enough either, Belle. That's like middle. It's just okay. It has one
Would you
difficult
be-
part.
Abyss.
Would you
It just,
be with Fire Mountain Rally, or do you want to go straight to Grapevine Gateway?
I mean, Grapevine's my favorite track, so I'm
I
always
know.
gonna choose Grapevine. Like, you can't ask me that question. I have severe bias in saying Grapevine, regardless of what is or isn't more difficult than something else.
I feel like Executioner was a very, very fun pick, though. It was a little bit controversial with a lot of the deaths and stuff. So it got a lot of discussion happening in the Discord. That was a bit of fun to see.
I see Mars has failed to properly path through Abyss. This is a pretty great watch, Bell.
It's those walls. He keeps going off. He's so tall.
No, the Bell watching you post game in the Abyss skips. I think did you get it 3 or 4 times in a row at low 30s? That was very, very impressive.
Yeah, I think my best time was. It's not better than my one time. I think my best time with Mars was like a 29, so like a low 29.
Well, very wise picks by HOMURA in that case.
Mhm.
I think I would have also preferred to do Juan on Inferno skip than Mars on Abyss skip, so I feel like I'm in the same boat.
Oh
But
yeah, I'm
so
looking
we
forward to watching the match back.
certainly, and we do, of course, like I said, we do have that match on Wednesday to look forward to, and then we'll be starting that round 4. So as soon as we have those up, we will have people creating those scheduled, and hopefully we'll have some good matches pretty quickly. But it'll probably be a little bit until we see the beginning of round 4. And then following round 4, once that concludes, we'll have a seeded single elimination bracket with top 8 seeds from the Swiss bracket. So still a lot of pod racing action to be had. But this was a very good match. I appreciate you guys for putting on the show. And thank you everybody for being here bright and early, or at least it's bright and early for me. I got an enjoyable 4 hours of sleep before this, so.
Well, you know, that's more than I got, so I'm looking forward to eating breakfast and going back to sleep.
I am going to
11:50
be
PM in Australia.
I'm going to be resetting the Austrian Grand Prix back to the beginning of the race, so that way I can actually watch the F1 race, since that also started at 9 a.m. Eastern. But yeah, this was quite fun. Thank you for everybody for being here. Thank you to SpeedGaming staff, especially Diesel for being up and early with us as well, getting everything fixed. It appears there was a race for a different game at 2 a.m. that just never happened, and so SpeedGaming as like a client didn't know how to push through our match, but it's quite funny to see
We got there
how
in the
that
end.
happened. But we did in fact get there in the end, and everything was sorted out. So it's good to work through that and get it done. Thank you to the tournament organizers for getting all this stuff set up, especially Lightning Pirate for this beautiful background. All of the amazing work he did with setting up Bato for this year's match, this year's tournament. It's quite fun seeing how everything has changed, and I've been enjoying it myself. So.
Good
Go
game.
ahead and
well
end it
played.
there. It's
Yeah,
a
good luck with
great
that match.
match, and may the force be with everybody.
Good game.